Do you want to start shooting corporate interviews, but you're worried you don't have the right equipment? In this video, we're going to take a look at my affordable lighting kit. This is what I take with me on pretty much every corporate shoot I do. It's very budget friendly, and it's a great starting point for those of you just getting into this kind of work. This kit is also ideal if you work mostly as a solo filmmaker like me. It's relatively lightweight, as well as being easy to set up and pack down. First, I'll go through exactly what's in the kit. Then we'll take a look at how I set it up and use it on real world shoots. Finally, we'll take a look at how you can build upon this basic kit, turning it from a solid one light setup into a 3-point lighting kit that covers most shooting scenarios. So what's in the kit? The key light is the Amaran 100D. This is a daylight LED fixture. It's very affordable, and so it makes for a great first light if you're just getting started. It's also bright enough to cover most indoor shooting situations. To go with this, I have a very basic light stand. This isn't a heavy light, and so you don't necessarily need a heavy duty C-stand. The goal is to keep the kit as lightweight and portable as possible. I would always advise that you still support the light stand with sandbags. You could also just use your kit bag, which is what I do occasionally. The 100D comes with a basic reflector dish, but no other form of diffusion. Because of this, I like to use it with a simple white umbrella. This option is not only super lightweight, it's incredibly quick and easy to set up. Most importantly, it also produces great results for such a small price. That's it, just one light stand, and one umbrella. As I mentioned, later in this video, we'll go through how you can add and improve on this basic kit. So how do I use this setup in real world shooting situations? This is what I like to use when I know I have a limited time to set up. It's also perfect for when I haven't had a chance to see the location prior to shooting, as I can quickly set it up and move it around to find the perfect spot. Typically, I'll raise the light up and set it to a 45-degree angle. This will be placed one side of the subject in an upstage position, allowing for the natural shadow fall off on one side of the subject to create slightly more depth. In some situations, I'll position the subject and the light where a practical is in the background to act as a hair light. I'll also try and make the light look as if it's coming from a natural source, such as a window, where possible. This is not always essential though, just personal preference. Sometimes you need something to look as though it's actually lit. I use my small HD monitor to check exposure on myself with false color, using the Sidus Link app to dial in my exposure until the skin tones are roughly between 55 and 70 IRE. This is obviously dependent on your subject's skin tones. I have a whole separate video on this if you're interested. If you're often working without a team or even an assistant like me, the Sidus Link app is perfect for being able to control the 100D while keeping an eye on exposure with your monitor. Most of the time, I'll fire the 100D directly through the umbrella. On occasion, I'll turn it around and use it as a bounce when I need it to be softer. You do lose a fair amount of power doing it this way, and so it does depend on the situation. There is a lot you can do with just one light. As I mentioned, this is a great starting point if you're building up your first lighting kit. From here, you can start to add to it over time. I think a lot of people feel like they need to have everything before they can get started, but that's really not the case. There's no need to spend a ton of money all on one shopping spree. You can add things to your kit piece by piece. So what are some options you can add to this kit? Firstly, I'd suggest investing in a decent bag that can fit everything in. Personally, I decided to go with a newer roller bag. Is it newer or newer? I can't remember. This was another affordable option, as I'm sure there are much more expensive ones out there. There are two different size options with this, and I'd recommend going for the slightly larger one. Having that bit of extra space is always handy. Next up, I'd recommend a decent second light. You could go for something like the Amaran P60X. This is a fantastic bi-color LED panel. There is also the Amaran P60C, which is the one I went for. This is the full RGB version, but it's slightly more expensive. Another option would be the Amaran 200D or 200X. If you find that the 100D isn't quite bright enough, you could invest in one of these as your key light and switch the 100D to your fill light. The 200D is a great daylight fixture again, and the 200X is the RGB version. For the third light, I like to use a tube of some variety. Tubes are great to use as hair lights because of their size and form factor. There are a few affordable options out there, both from Nanlite and Aputure, so it will depend on personal preference, as they are slightly different. They also come in different sizes, so again, it will depend on personal preference. At the moment, I'm using the Nanlite 15X in my kit, but I'm looking to invest in some of the slightly larger tubes, possibly the Amaran T4c this time, just so I'll then be able to control all my lights through the Sidus Link app, which saves so much time. I love that they can all be used with battery power as well, which saves the need for cables. You may feel that you need slightly more diffusion, The P60 line come with their own, but you may want to consider something like the Aputure light dome. This is the perfect companion for the Amaran 100 or 200D. There is also the SE version of the light dome, which is about £100 cheaper, but the quick rod system in the light dome 2 makes it well worth the extra money in my opinion. Having that extra speed, setting it up, packing it down is key for me. I would advise that if you are going to use a light dome, invest in a slightly sturdier stand than the one I mentioned before. They're fine when you're just using the umbrella, but the light dome is much larger and heavier. These are just some optional extras that you can add to the one light kit. You can probably see now how it all starts to add up. This is why I always recommend starting with one light first and building from there. I hope you found this video useful. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to see more videos on low budget cinematography and filmmaking in general, you can subscribe here or carry on watching one of these videos. I look forward to seeing you next time. Take care.